Hello BookTube! Welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth and this is my June book haul part 2. Now I know we're halfway into July, but I've been holding on to these books for several weeks, just trying to find the time to make videos, and I wanted to get my introductions and everything out of the way. So I'm finally getting to this batch. Now if you saw my book haul part 1, those books were all from one single day that I took and did a big book shopping excursion. This particular haul is from a couple of different random days when I happened to be in the vicinity of a library that I liked, that I knew had a good book sale area, so I picked up a few books just randomly throughout the month. So the first library I went to is in a town about 40 miles from where I live, and I was scheduled to be a substitute teacher there at their high school, but only for half a day. So I went early enough that I could stop by the library and check out their books. Now they usually have a few books out in their lobby that are on clearance. So the first one I saw on their clearance cart, or their clearance table, was Robin McKinley's Spindle's Inn. This is such a beautiful book. I had seen it before and wanted to read it. I never have. I believe that it's a retelling of Sleeping Beauty, but I'm not absolutely certain of that. I have heard of Robin McKinley by watching Gwen of the Gwendolyn reading method, who just raves about her Beauty and the Beast retellings, and she has 2 different ones. So I will definitely be getting to those as well. But meanwhile, this was 25 cents, and it's a good hardback copy in great shape, and I couldn't resist. At the same library, I picked up a cozy mystery. This one is called Death Loves a Messy Desk by Mary Jane Maffini. I thought it would be fun to pick up. It says she is the author of The Cluttered Corpse. Now, I don't know what series this is part of, but I'm definitely going to be looking into it. It says there's also organizing tips included, and I've mentioned before, I love to read organizing books, so I am really looking forward to reading this one. Another book I picked up, which I know most of you guys have probably read all of these, but I have not. This is book 1 of the Spiderwick Chronicles by Holly Black and Tony DiTerlizzi, I believe is how you say that. One book I got for my youngest daughter, who says she wants to be a veterinarian, is book 2 in the Vet Volunteer series. This one is called Homeless. Some other books I picked up for our little free library downtown. I got an Animal Ark book, 2 Boxcar Children books, a Goosebumps book, Finding Danny by Lindsay Glass, Veronica the Show-Off by Nancy K. Robinson. Here's a graphic novel, some other chapter books, a board book, some other little books for younger readers, and just a wide variety. Here's a basketball book. I may have mentioned in my intro video that at our little free library we have a hard time keeping children's books. So when I can find a good stack like this for 10 cents or 25 cents a piece, I try to stock up so that I can keep children's books in our little free library. And the last book at that particular library is a Florida history book. And this is probably written on about a middle school level. Now I grew up in Oklahoma and I studied Oklahoma history. I have not ever studied Florida history. And I've been in Florida now a little bit longer than I was in Oklahoma. So I thought it was time that I learn a little bit of Florida history. Now later on in the month, my daughter had been attending a sports camp during the day, and on the last day I went to pick her up, and then we were headed out of town to meet my husband and my other daughter, who had gone on ahead to set up our camp for our little camping trip we were doing. So we happened to be going through another town that's about a half hour from where we live. The library is great there, and they have a nice little bookstore, but I don't get over there very often. So I said, well, we're so close, why don't we just stop by? And she's rolling her eyes like, oh, Mom. So of course I could find several books. The first 2 books I got at that library were off the BOGO cart. They were buy one for $2, get one free. This one is by Jennifer Chiaverini, called The Union Quilters. I have listened to this book on audio, and it's a wonderful book. My sister has read it as well, so I won't be passing this on to her, but I did get it because our friends at the library has, at Christmas time, a White Elephant book exchange at our Christmas party, and I thought this would be a good book for that. I've mentioned Jennifer Chiaverini before. I did review one of her standalone books during my June wrap-up, and I had a hard time getting through it. Now, the Elm Creek Quilt series, I've read almost all of those, and they're wonderful. The Elm Creek Quilt series partly takes place in contemporary times, and then it has backflashes so that some of the books are actually historical novels that, and the central characters are ancestors of the people in the contemporary books. and there's even one that's kind of set in the future. So these are really good books, and if you like quilting at all, or just nice fiction that's of interest to women, I recommend these books. This one I picked up for my husband. It's called Spinning Disney's World, Memories of a Magic Kingdom Press Agent by Charles Ridgway. I thought it looked like something that we both might want to read, and he reads a lot of nonfiction. I also picked up a couple of cozy mysteries. I don't know anything about this series. I do read another knitting mystery series by Maggie Sefton, but this one is by Mary Kruger. It's called Dyed in the Wool. It's a knitting mystery, and it looks really cute, so I picked it up. This series I have read a couple of. It's by Monica Ferris. This particular book is called Threadbare, and it is a needlecraft mystery series. And I've mentioned before that I collect Grace Livingston Hill books, and according to my list, I didn't have this one. It's called Job's Niece, and this is a Christian fiction novel. Some of her books are romances, and some are just really good drama stories that are usually heartwarming and have a good message. Okay, so the next books I got at that particular library were just a bunch of random kids books for the Little Free Library. A lot of them were 10 cents a piece, and the last two things we got at that particular library bookstore were Hunger Games related. It's the Hunger Games Official Illustrated Movie Companion. And then we also got the Jabberjay game. I had never seen this before. It looks fun. It's got some character cards, some district cards. So the last small batch of books are books that I got randomly throughout the month. I'm not even sure where I picked these up, just in different places. This one is called The Summer of the Swans by Betsy Byers. It's a Newbery winner, I think from the 70s, and it's one that I hadn't read yet. Then this is called A Tolkien Compass, edited by Jared Lobdell. I like to pick up things by and about Tolkien if it's things that I don't already have, and I had not heard of this. The Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis. This book has always scared me a little bit, and one of the items on my 2015 reading challenge says read a book that scares you. And I have heard that this is good. In fact, I believe just recently I heard Sam from Novels and Nonsense talking about Screwtape Letters, and she liked it. So I respect her opinion, and I am looking forward to reading it, even though I really am a little scared. Okay, the next book I picked up was A Year Down Yonder by Richard Peck. I have read both of these in this duology. A friend of mine was looking for them a while back, and I found this. I think she has already read them from the library, but I thought for a quarter I'd go ahead and pick it up and see if she would like to have it. And the last book is Mr. Monk Goes to the Firehouse. I love the Monk TV series, mainly because Mr. Monk is obsessive compulsive, and my father had a lot of OCD type tendencies, even though he was never diagnosed with anything. So there are several little quirky things that Mr. Monk does that totally remind me of my dad. So I have collected 3 or 4 of these books when I find them at good prices, and I have not read any of them yet. But I'm guessing that each one is based on an episode of the TV show. So that's it for my June book haul part 2. There will be a June book haul part 3. That will be books that I brought home from my own library. I'm the book sales chairman for our local Friends of the Library, so I occasionally, frequently, run across a book that I want to purchase for myself. So once a month or so I will cash out and bring home some books, and it had been a while since I had brought any home, so I had gotten quite a stack built up. I want to show you those in my next video. So I hope you'll subscribe, come back soon, read a good book, and God bless you.